So I'm going to be using Benji Fishy as an example today, guys, and I just want to put this out there that he's just installed his new 3090 NVIDIA GeForce graphics card to his PC, and they are supposed to be absolutely insane next-gen technology, guys. Okay, so let's take a look at Benji's FPS right here. When he lands, he's not land anywhere built up, and he's not being contested. There's only grass and trees around him. So theoretically, he should be getting 240 FPS, especially with all this new Fortnite technology and stuff, you know, for the performance, this DOSS thing or whatever. But he's still dropping very, very slightly. This is another clip that he uploaded the other day on his channel. This is right at the start of the video, when he lands in a built-up area, Stark Industries, and he ends up getting a few kills. But listen to what he has to say right here.
My FPS is not looking fresh though.
So even Benji Fishy knows that his FPS is still taking a shit on him, even though his PC is probably worth somewhere in the £6,000 to £7,000 range, guys, which is a ton of money. My PC is probably worth at maximum £500 to £600, okay? And he's still receiving huge FPS drops. For instance, this is Benji Fishy in late game. Look at his FPS, guys. He's struggling to get 130. Okay, so this brings me to what I need to tell you guys to fix this problem. Even if you're a professional that's got an insane PC, you shouldn't be playing on 240 FPS. It's not your PC's fault, it's Fortnite's fault. Their servers, when it gets towards endgame, just imagine how many signals is getting thrown through their servers at one point. Just imagine that. Millions and millions. Think of how many people build a wall each 10 seconds on Fortnite. Absolutely millions. Okay, so you got to think of it. It just can't physically keep up with it itself. So what you guys need to do, okay, is if you want to play on 240 FPS, that's fine. You can play on 240 FPS at the start of the games, in between, like in the middle of a game. But if you get anywhere near end game and it's getting stacked, you need to lower your FPS down to 120. Okay, now you guys shouldn't be laughing while you're watching this saying, 120 FPS, you crazy? Because you guys play on 120 FPS basically on endgame anyway, or even less sometimes. I see Benji drop down to like 80 FPS all the time when he gets to endgame. So you're not playing on 240 FPS, so there's no need to overwork your PC to make it try and get 240 FPS when you can just lower it down to like 120, which is basically what you're getting anyway, and then you'll have a consistently smooth 120 FPS. While everyone around you is sitting there trying to get 240 FPS and receiving all this lag delay and FPS drops. So you'll be able to take their walls because you're going to be smooth, kill them, make your plays, and they won't be able to, guys. Okay, this is why I'm trying to get this across to professionals, because I always think to myself, if the end game was never laggy, would the outcome be different? Would the top players that are the top players, you know, right now, like Benji, Mongrel, Clicks, and all these people, would they still be up there, you know, like as the best? Or would there be completely new people that have never had a chance to show how good they can get at this game because their PC is just not good enough, unfortunately, because you need to have a super PC to play this game. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to do this now. If you don't have a good PC, then you don't have to put it to 120 FPS. You need to go lower than that, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. But if you do have a PC that has anything from like a 2060 GTX NVIDIA graphics card and up, and a decent, you know, CPU, you're going to want to play on like 240 FPS or 200 FPS, and then when you get to end game, you're going to want to knock it down to 120. And if it doesn't work, you can come back and slag me off as much as you'd like on the video. You can dislike it, send hate, but I promise you now, I have a video that's gone viral on my channel a while ago. It has like 200,000 views, and I'm talking about the exact same thing. Getting your FPS capped at the exact right spot is the only way to get smoother gameplay on this game, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how to do this now if you don't have a good PC, because unfortunately you need to do it through the custom settings and stuff like that. You do need to go into some files, but if you've got a good PC, you don't need to do that. You can just change it on game. I'll show you in a second. But yeah, so if you have a good PC, it's a lot easier for you guys, because you can just come on Fortnite and go to the settings in there, and you can change your FPS right there, guys. So most of you play on 240 frames. I would recommend to lowering that down to about 200. Play on 200 frames at the start of the game and you know, like in the middle of a game. But when you get towards the end game, make sure you lower it down to about 120 FPS. Some of you might be able to get 144. But my recommendation is 120, guys. But if you don't have a good PC and you need a custom frame rate, because they're not in the settings, it goes 60 and then 120, you need to go ahead and press the start button and R at the same time and type in %appdata %. go at the top here and click on local, and basically just follow where I do right here, find Fortnite game, and then once you've found that, I'm going to go nice and slow here for you. Just go into saved and then go into config and then Windows client, and then right click on the game user settings and make sure that the read only is not ticked, or all the settings that you will change will not actually save because the read only thing's on. So once you've unticked that, yours might not even be ticked, so if it's not ticked then it's fine. Just open up this setting page right here, and then you're going to want to find your FPS. So for instance, I have mine capped at 80, and the reason why I have to do it the long way is because Fortnite don't allow you to have 80 as a capped FPS on the settings itself, so you have to come here and do it manually. But yeah, once you've just changed the frame rate, click file and save a couple of times just to make sure it saves, and then right click on game user settings once again and make sure you tick read only this time, and then click apply and OK. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. I promise you now that that's going to help you out a ton. If it doesn't, like I said, come back and dislike the video, leave a nasty comment or whatever. But yeah, I hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.